Hi and welcome to my greenhouse. I thought I'd do a video on just what I've got in my greenhouse at the moment. So as you can probably see, my greenhouse is full of carnivorous plants. I've loved carnivorous plants for many years and it is absolutely stock full at the moment. You can see here quite a lot of Venus flytraps. At the last count there was something like 200 or more. I started potting them up from a relatively small tray, splitting them, putting them in individual pots, and then they just grew like absolute lunatics. And then they started to split, so I divided a few more, and then they started to split, so I divided a few more, and it just got a little bit out of hand. That's not all of them, there's actually some more over here. So at the moment I'm just doing a bit of tidying up. I've been through all the Venus flytraps, sort of pulling off some of the dead leaves, just tidying them up. They've actually started to get some green fly, some of them, so I've been spraying them for that. Otherwise, if they start to get green fly this early in the season, they completely distort and knacker the traps that come up, and it doesn't do them a great deal of good at all. At the moment they are sort of still fairly dormant. We're still getting a few frosts, but they're beginning to perk up a bit now. There's even a few which are, if I can spot one, begin to put up flower spikes. No, typically I can't actually see one there, but yeah, some of them actually now starting to put up flower spikes, so they're getting ready to actually start to flower. So that's what occupies almost half of my greenhouse. The rest of it is mostly Sarracenias. As you can see here, I've got some quite nice ones there. I think one of the ones at the back there is this nice Mori. It's got some nice big traps. These are quite old. I'm going to start tidying these up a bit. I've also got a Flavrillata red lid, which is absolutely gorgeous. There's a couple of Orophelias there, which die back quite nicely. They sort of put winter plumage, but it's not a bird. Winter leaves up. That's slightly different from the main traps. I've got quite a few Githatip sopas that actually do retain their traps through the winter quite nicely, actually, in the lovely coloration. But I've obviously seen I've started to snip a few of these back. There's my Pepura Venosa. Actually, no, I think that's Pepura. I absolutely love that one. It's a really deep red colour. There's a few others. That is Leucophila red tube, Flava Atropurpurea. It doesn't look particularly spectacular at the moment because obviously the pictures have died back, but that's got a beautiful red, purple sort of tube to that one. Some more Githatip sopas, just again need a bit tidying up. And this is my sort of tray, mostly of old ones I've had for years and years. I've no idea what they are, but they have produced, or they produced last year, some quite spectacular tall pitchers. I think they probably are, a Mori probably produced from my own parent species, but I think the tallest one of those tubes last year got to about 30 something inches, maybe a bit taller. And I think that's probably the largest one that I've actually ever had in my greenhouse. So I was really quite pleased with that one. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm actually just doing a bit of tidying up of these, snipping back some of the dead tops of the traps, just making sure that if we look deep down into the actual sort of crowns, there's no sort of mould or no botrytis. Certainly checking for green fly, because they can again affect these quite badly. They distort the new traps that are coming up. But as we can see here, this one's got some really nice flowers already starting to come up. In fact, it's absolutely covered in flower spikes. This one I need to split at some point. It's actually squeezing the pot, so I probably need to take a knife through there at some point, but I'm not going to do that now. Yeah, that one's just, oh, there we go. It's labelled Old A because I don't have a clue what the origin of that one is, but it's very nice. Got a lot of others here I need to deal with as well. Got another tray of them here. I think that one's maroon. That was a cross I think my mum gave me. I'm not quite sure what the parentage of maroon is. And here's some other little ones I bought a few years ago as little seedlings. In fact, I bought off the internet about 3 or 4 pots of little seedlings, which are then divided up into these other trays just so they could grow on a bit. And I've taken a few of those, and you know, they've now, some of the bigger ones have shot up to sort of ones this size, sort of 9 to 10 inches tall. So they've done really well actually. Here's some other little seedlings I grew from a few years ago. Again, this one's a Pepura. Well, not entirely sure what this one is. I think I've worked out this one is probably actually Pepura. I think Pepura actually, rather than Pepura Venosa. I think it was meant to be Pepura Venosa, but the seeds were mislabelled. I need to have another look at the description of those two just to see if I can work out which one is which. You can apparently tell from the shape, the sort of proportions of the actual tubes, and the sort of the smoothness of them. But again, these are absolutely gorgeous little seedlings with some beautiful veining on them. So I'm really pleased with these. These, I think, the seed I got from the UK Carnivorous Seed Society. They have a seed bank which you can subscribe to and get a variety of seeds. So yeah, they were grown from seed. That must have been 2-3 years ago now. So they're beginning to actually grow quite nicely now. I've got a few more. This tray up here. In fact, I've got a nice one now, which is actually a green one, all green, all the same seed, but he's all green. But you can see, you know, that one is of the same age, and it's a lot smaller. That one's got a bit bigger. At the back there, you can see some seeds I've grown from my own crosses. So I think that one there in the middle, that was a Flava Lata Red Lid cross. There's some Jithatic Sopa crosses in there. That one at the back, I think was Chelsoni crossed with Rubra, and that's actually got some really nice coloration on that trap. It's got really nice Rubra coloration. So there's a few more back there, some more little Pepuras. In actual fact, I've got a few trays of seeds actually on the go here. So they've been out here since I think it was before Christmas. When did I say that? 29th of December I sowed those. So they've been out here, they've had quite a few frosts, so hopefully that'll be good enough for the seeds to actually germinate, because they need cold stratification. Oh, that's another tray of some of the seedlings I've potted up from the ones I bought on the internet, as you know, literally probably 3 pots about that size, probably a 3 or 4 inch pot, absolutely stuffed with little seedlings, and I painstakingly picked them all out and grew them on, and some of those are looking really nice now. They need a bit of tidying up. Here's another tray that I'm sorting out at the moment, just tidying the traps up. If we just move that out of the way, we can see I've got a tray of Cobra Lilies, Darlingtonia Californica. They've all, I bought one plant quite a few years ago now, and it's spread the little ones off, and they're doing really, really well now. It's a really nice plant, and again, these are now starting to, if I can find it, there we go, starting to generate flower spikes, which are going to come up fairly soon. So again, that should be really nice. It flowered and produced quite a bit of seed last year. So I was really pleased with that. I've not actually had my Cobra Lily flower before, so that was quite a sight to see. And I think 2 or 3 of those plants actually flowered with several flowers each, and it was absolutely beautiful. So they're not actually carnivorous plants. There's some chilies, which actually I need to take back inside. It's a bit cold out here still at the moment. Here's what I've been doing this morning. This is Pinguicula emeraginata crossed with, which is it? I can't remember its name now. It's a cross. It's an absolutely beautiful little Pinguicula. It only grows to about 2-3 centimeters across, maybe up to 4, but it produces some absolutely exquisite little white flowers, sort of only about a centimeter across, really delicate, nicely veined. It's a lovely little Pinguicula. So yeah, I've been potting those up. I sowed a load of seeds last year. I think these were dated, I'll actually say these, in fact about a year ago. Indoors, they didn't seem to come up, even though the first lot of seeds, again, the original I got from some seeds from the Carnivorous Plants Society seed bank. I think it was only about 4 or 5 seeds in the actual pack, only 1 came up. So I sowed that little plant flowered, and so I sowed some of its seeds, and I got nothing for several weeks, so I sowed a few more seeds, and I think all of them came up, and so I've been gradually trying to pick them apart and pot them up individually once they've got a bit bigger to handle. They're really tricky to actually pot up because when the leaves start overlapping each other, they're really quite sticky against each other. They sort of grip, and you start pulling one out of the pot and you start pulling a whole lot of others out as well. I mean, I must admit, Pinguiculas are tricky little devils to pot up because they've got virtually nothing in the way of a root system. Certainly these don't. And so actually trying to get them into a bigger pot and secured so they don't just sort of push their way out of the soil is really difficult. It's a lot of painstaking work. So yeah, that's sort of what I've got in my greenhouse at the moment. Oh, back here, you see it, I've got Sarracenia as well, my little one. I need to try and split that at some point because it's getting quite big. But yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. Sort of tidying things up, getting things ready for the warmer weather, trying to avoid green fly becoming a problem. Trying to also avoid other diseases, botrytis. So I've been tidying up some of these by pulling some of the dead leaves off at the base. I don't know whether you should do that. I've done it all the times I've actually grown these things. I've been growing carnivorous plants for something like 30 or 40 years. I've always done that just to keep them open in the centre, so you've got less chance of getting mould and stuff growing in there. Also trimming down the tops just gradually as they die back, so I don't take them all the way down. I just tend to trim off down to the next bit of green. I think some people don't like having them with the tops cut off, but I'd rather do that, to be quite honest, than actually have disease start to take hold of the actual main parts here. It's not a tuber, I think it's a corm actually. Oh, no, I think it's a rhizome actually, technically. So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment, and that's what I carry on doing. So hopefully, judging by how many flower spikes I've started to see coming up, there's again another one here with a load of flower spikes. What's this one? That's a Lata alata, one of my ones, but you can't really tell at the moment it's a Lata alata. But yeah, I think they're going to be quite spectacular this year. I mean, last year it was an absolutely beautiful show in the greenhouse with all the Sarracenia flowers. So maybe when they start to actually flower, I'll come back out and do another video of that, just show you what it's like. And yeah, well, I hope you've enjoyed having a quick look around my greenhouse. It's my my carnivorous plants, and perhaps I'll do another video later. I do have a few carnivorous plants inside. I've got a few Nepenthes, and a few little sundews on the go. I've got a few sundews out here, but mostly ones that I've just sort of hijacked their way into other pots. So there's a Capensis sat inside a Venus flytrap pot there. They do get frosted. They sometimes they survive, sometimes they don't. So most of my Drosera capensis and things like that, I just take into the garage, just keep them frost free. I used to leave them outside, or I used to leave them in the greenhouse, and they used to get frosted, and the majority they would survive. They would die back really quite badly, but in fact sometimes they'd die back, and the whole thing would almost look as if it'd gone mouldy and just dry. And then you just suddenly think, oh, I'll get rid of that, and you realise that actually it was sprouting out from the roots. So they do survive, but they seem to survive better, to be quite honest, if you don't frost them. So yeah, there we go. That's a quick look around my greenhouse. I hope you enjoyed it. I've just thought I'd show you the contents, or do a bit of a dissection on the pictures I've taken off. So this is off my Flava. The picture itself is about 33 inches long. As you can see, actually I had a wasp in it during the summer, and the wasp decided to chew its way out, so it left a small hole. But just thought it might be interesting to see actually how far this is actually full. So I'm just going to pause a moment, slip down here because I've got nothing to hold the camera with, and we can actually then see how full this particular picture was. Bear with a moment. Okay, that's it slit open. So if we have a look, so at the top, no, it's not got too much at the top. So we come down, there we go. Sort of mashed up, decomposed, dry husks of the flies now. And it goes right down to the bottom. We'll just grab the tape measure. So that was basically from about, so it's about 13 inches full of flies. Which, for a good summer like last year, that's pretty good. I mean, this is, there's a lot of dead flies in there. I mean, it's quite a big. Oh, there's a few bugs as well as flies. It's absolutely stuffed with it, and this is quite a thick picture actually as well. So there you go. Just in case you're interested, that's how weather did last year.